This is Connect Radio, and it seems like absolutely ages since we had Tim on because there's been illness, there's been tech problems, but you should be hearing us loud and clear, Tim. Good morning.
Good morning, Gareth. Good to hear you. Good to hear your voice. Good to see you again after so
Well,
long. Happy New Year to you.
Happy New Year to you as well. And we're in a different studio. So I think this is the first video that we've done where I am actually in a different studio. So for those who will be watching this back, this is Studio B, the one I always talk about. Tim is in Studio C at the moment, broadcasting live. And if you don't know, then, well, you should know because the jingles tell you basically after every song. But Compassion UK are the official breakfast show sponsors. And this show is made possible because of their support. So it's only right that we give some support back. And what we wanted to do with it being a brand new year, we wanted to do something that we call in the industry as a reset. So, Tim, will you just tell us, please, your actual role at Compassion UK? What do you
Yeah,
do?
yeah, sure. Whenever I go somewhere, Gareth, I just say I work for Compassion UK. But internally, we have all of these different roles and responsibilities and job names and whatever. But my official title is I'm head of church development in Compassion UK.
Which presumably the clues in the title, it's all about developing relationships, isn't it?
Yeah, that's right. There's something like 45,000 churches in the UK of all persuasions, of all traditions and whatever. And I guess part of my job is to try and connect with as many different networks and denominations, of which there are 228. Did you know that in the UK? So the church is very broad, it's very big. And every church, every denomination, every network has its own culture and whatever. And over the years, I've been able to make friends and make connections. My role is really to expand our operation, as it were, to see if we can get more support and connection and partnership with lots of different networks and church traditions, really.
And of course, it's all about sharing the vision of compassion and telling these churches and organizations about the great work that compassion do. Now, for those who may not know, it's all about an approach to fighting poverty. Basically, that is the focus. And it's a personal focus, but it's about child sponsorship, isn't it? So tell us how this works, Tim. And well, first of all, I'm always concerned that I get the wording wrong on this because you guys do it so well. And I have in my mind, don't say this word, don't say that word. Did I do it right?
Well, kind of. Yeah, no, of
Okay, all
course
right,
you did. Of
kind
course
of.
you did. Yeah, we are known as a child sponsorship organization. However, that is our funding model. That's how we kind of fund the thing, really. Um, what we actually do is that we are an international child development organization. So this is all about enhancing that development of that child living in poverty. Compassion works in 27 nations around the world in developing situations where people are faced with the challenges of poverty every day. Um, Currently, there are 2.2 million children registered on over 8,000 projects within these countries. And this ministry has been going for 70 years now. 1 million children have already gone through the program. But as I say, over 2.2 million children currently registered, and their lives have been changed forever. And so, what we want to do is right from birth, right the way through their education, is disciple them, develop them, create an environment where they can grow and thrive and be lifted out of poverty so that they can turn around and then make a difference to their families, their communities, and their country.
We've heard many stories over the months that we've had Tim on about the incredible work because when you invest and when you sponsor a child, it's a person's life. And we've heard, and we've actually had some great guests on the show. I mean, Tim's all right, but we've had some great guests of those who have come through the Compassion Program, graduates, and they've gone on to do incredible things. And it really is. I can't stress this enough. It's you're investing in a human being. You're giving them a future. You're giving them hope. It's £28 a month, and you can empower them to overcome poverty. Now, I'm going to play a song, but whilst this song is playing, I want you to head over to the website right now. It's compassionuk.org, compassionuk.org, and this is your challenge, okay? I want you to click on sponsor a child, and I want you to look through those beautiful children on there. For example, we've got Rose Julie, and she's 7 years old. She's in Haiti, and she's been waiting 9 months for a sponsor. Then you've got Freddie, who's been waiting 12 months. He's in Sri Lanka. Have a look at these children and think about, maybe put your own children to mind. You've never had to worry, or I hope you haven't, you've never had to worry about, will they get an education? You've hopefully never had to think, will we be able to feed them? Not today, but this week, and all this kind of stuff. Healthcare. You know, my son hasn't been very well, but we never had to think, will we be able to see a doctor? I made a phone call, and within a few hours, my son Elijah saw a doctor and he had antibiotics. All this kind of stuff. You are investing in a human being's life. CompassionUK.org. Go and have a look at those children and have a think about this. Can you support compassion? £28 a month, and we'll have more from Nick, Tim, in just a moment. That's because we were talking about the CEO, and then we moved on to as well Nick, who's under the CEO and all that. We've got Tim. Very sorry, Tim.
I'm not offended, but I'm leaving right now.
So, we have the pleasure of Compassion UK on the breakfast show every Wednesday. And the reason we do it is because we believe wholeheartedly in the great work that they do. They're investing in people's lives, but they can't do it without you. £28 a month to empower them to overcome poverty. And in the next few weeks, the next few months, we've got some great, exciting plans coming up. I don't want to say too much about this because I always say this stuff and then it doesn't happen or it goes completely wrong and that kind of stuff. So basically, rest assured, we've got some very exciting content with Compassion, which is coming up soon. I just want to touch upon because you can talk from the heart, not just because you actually work for Compassion, but because you sponsor a child, don't you?
We sponsor a number of children actually, and have over, I think it's about 31 years now, Gareth. And what a privilege that is to be able to invest in somebody else's life. You talked before the song about our own families, our own needs, and whatever. But the Bible tells us to love our neighbor as ourselves, you know. And who is our neighbor? Well, yes, the person either side of us, across the road from us, but whoever really is in need. And as I look at the fact that there are 370 million children living in abject poverty, then I can do something. I can do something about that. I can't change the world, but I can change the world for one or two or three. And over the years, we've done that, and given them a chance, helped to create an opportunity for them to thrive. And currently, we sponsor, I think, about 5 children in our
Wow.
family. My daughter's sponsor, and my wife sponsors, and we sponsor one or two together. So I'm thinking of Samrawit in Ethiopia. She's just a beautiful girl, been with us for a long time, I guess. But what a privilege to invest in this young woman's life. Um, we've also got Jonah in Kenya, and Richard in Uganda, and CJ in Kenya, I think it is, and Hannah in Ethiopia, I think. So I'm just trying to remember all these names. I think I got them all right, which is unlike you, Gareth. You don't get names right, do you? But there you go. Oh, what a
Um,
privilege. It's so good.
Anyway, Frank, leave it out. So if you go to the Compassion website, you'll be able to see, and it's quite a difficult thing to do this because it's almost like you're looking through thinking, yeah, no, no, no. All these children need your help. And maybe, in fact, Tim, you can probably tell us more about this. How did you select the child? Because I've got friends who sponsor with Compassion, and it was a date of birth, it was a name. it was something that made that person want to sponsor this child.
Definitely. We see it all the time. I was at a church in Maidstone on Sunday and 17 children were sponsored. And, people come up and say, "Oh, I want that child because, it's the same name as my grandchild," or that's the same birth date, or whatever. So there is like this little connection there, that kind of draws people in and makes it really, really meaningful. And I could tell you some, sob stories, some heartbreaking, tear-jerking stories, and I think I did one or two of those last year. But I don't know. I do believe that God really connects, and when you see that child, you kind of just know that's the right one. And I want to say as well that okay, we've got loads of children on the website there, but all of those children are in the program and they are receiving the benefits that Compassion, give, and the local church there give. What we want to do is find that one-to-one sponsor to invest in them relationally through letter writing, through prayer and support, as well as the financial implication of £28 a month. Then we can put our money into registering the next child, because there's always the next child. There's so many, and we want to help them all, but we're limited to that, and so we need people to come alongside and partner with us and invest in a child.
It's important to mention as well that through the whole process, Compassion will support you. Don't think that it's just they take your money and then that's it. You can actually write to the child and the support for both parties as well. And it's done. I've never heard a bad thing about Compassion. I've always heard people say, do you know what? It's a great charity, it's a great organization, and they do support you through every stage of the sponsorship. So we'll be speaking to Tim in future weeks. But it's your job right now to head over to the website, which is compassionuk.org. Compassionuk.org. You can find them on the socials as well and have a look. You can find out what the charity is all about. You can donate if you'd like to. There's a great way to pray for Compassion as well. There's things that you need to be praying for. They've got a blog on there, and they've got prayer points. And of course, you can sponsor a child by clicking the button, and maybe it's an age thing, maybe it's a name, maybe it's an area that you've once been to. It's something that just rings home to you, and you go, oh, yeah, okay, £28 a month, and you can invest in a child to give them a future. Tim, it's always a pleasure. Thank you very much, and you have a great day.
Fantastic. Thank you, Gareth. See you again soon.